back from the break here talking about dispelling, debunking, all of these things that are kind of untrue. And again, Tom, we see a lot of this in the industry. And why? Because I think people are a little apathetic these days to where they don't really care. Some don't. And then also, too, they're ignorant to some degree on what works, what doesn't work. And they're vulnerable to something that's quick and easy, something that's doesn't take a lot of effort, like weight loss and detoxification. And let's talk about both of those, especially detoxification. I know that there is a lot of myths out there, and I know there's some things that you and I have seen that are absolutely wacky on the detoxification side of things, on the approaches. Some fast become very dangerous. And then in turn, foot soaks. I wanted to get your opinion on these things because to me, you soak your feet in these things, they're supposedly pulling out toxins, okay? Right. I know the pores on the feet are a little larger, okay? But can the body, because to me, here's my thought, toxins are stored in the fat cells and the liver or those sort of things.
Almost every cell.
Almost every cell. But in order for it to be deposited in this liquid, it would have to be in what part of the body? I don't understand. It seems like to me, if it's in the blood, it's not going to come out of the blood vessels into that. I mean, we sweat, of course, naturally and sweat out toxins. I'm sure that may be a part of it because it's warm water. But I've never understood this color change that happens in the water and that sort of thing.
They have pads you can tape to yourself.
Oh, right. I've seen those as well.
Yeah.
So there's foot soaks and there's pads and things along that line. And I know that, again, the bottom of the feet is a fairly good delivery system for inside the body, at least putting things on. And of course, the skin itself is the largest organ. It's going to absorb just about anything you put on it.
Yeah, these, you'll see the women with their hormone patch and it goes in, or the men even have a hormone patch and it goes in. And there's deliveries like that for cancer treatments and things. So, and people know that if you use aluminum in your antiperspirant, it's going to find its way into you eventually.
Yes, quickly, too.
Up to a third of what you rub on you goes in you. So, but the manufacturers are getting a little better at that as far as, the old hair dyes, which I don't use, but anyway, some of those.
Me either, by the way. But as far as specifically the foot soaks, I think you and I feel the same way, right?
So let's say it's beneficial. So let's don't totally poo-poo the issue, but just think of, okay, so you give me a choice. I'm going to go outside today. It's in the 70s. I'm going to work. I'm going to sweat a little bit. I'm going to get some exercise. I'm going to breathe out, which is a way of getting rid of some toxins. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sweat. That's going to get rid of some toxins. I'm going to drink just good old, reverse osmosis water or something like that.
And then moving the lymph system moving the lymph system. That's the only way the lymph system actually.
I'm going to detox. I'm going to eat some vegetables and fruit, and then that's going to clean me out as I go. So which one do I pick? I don't.
There's not a choice.
I'd have a problem.
That's right. There's not a choice because when it's all said and done, detoxification through the foods that we eat, juicing, sweating, exercising, moving the body. Those are the best detoxification methods that I know of. Now, and again, not discounting altogether the foot soaks and that detoxification side.
You'll change some electrical charge, but I'm afraid in general you're just getting a change, possibly of the pH. There's electrodes that are in the device, and those are going to rust, and some of that when you charge the water is going to dissolve some of the
change
charge
the color a little there.
Water, and and they have some salts in there. So anyway.
I see.
So I'm not saying.
Well, but I guess my point is this. Okay, let's say it works a little, and it does help a little. It's not going to come anywhere close to a 45-minute outside workout sweating after you've taken in some type of vegetable juice and fresh juices. I mean, let's face it. If you were to take a vegetable juice and drink it, go out and exercise, sweat, move the body, you're going to move through far more toxins, move out far more toxins in that situation than you ever would with any type of soak or anything else for that matter.
Well, just keep it simple. Just go drink a few quarts of water and look what color your urine is, or go stick your foot in a bucket for a couple hours and
see what happens there.
Urinate and see what the color is. I mean, so
yeah,
if it was cleaning it all out really good, there wouldn't be much have to come out through the other systems.
Yes.
That's
a good point,
we shouldn't just totally pick on these guys. But me, I've got a not an axe to grind, but it's just like even the water we were talking about. you don't necessarily have to buy $5,000 alkalinizing, ionizing water.
True.
I mean, if you want to alkalinize, eat some vegetables and fruit, Todd, and drink some water.
Exactly. In fact, when that trend came around, I know, Tom, that the alkalining, and then that's another point to bring up. Alkalining the body, where do you need to be alkaline? You certainly need to be slightly alkaline in the blood, Tom, right? But if you're alkaline in your intestinal tract, you're a ball of candida, okay? If you are alkaline in your intestinal tract from anywhere in there, you've got to stay acidic all the way through that intestinal tract, or you have bad bacteria proliferate like mad. So when people say you have to be alkaline, you've got to be alkaline in your blood, okay, slightly. And the way you become slightly alkaline in the blood is become more acidic in the intestinal tract, eating pre-digested foods, fermented food, cultured foods, those type of things. That is really the best way, in my opinion, to help change the bacterial balance, number one, and the acidity of the body, number two. So there's a misconception. People say you have to be alkaline. Well, yes, slightly in the blood, but certainly not in the intestinal tract.
Let's go further with that. How about the reflux and the indigestion? A lot of them they put them on these antacids where oftentimes you can put a tablespoon or two of vinegar in with your glass of water, drink that before you eat, and guess what? Yeah. There went my indigestion.
And that's right. Or a half an apple. I've literally had people that have had major reflux before they go to bed. I tell them to eat a half an apple. It makes an enormous difference. The pectins, exactly. So I guess, in my point, Tom, as far as this thing, and we're not trying necessarily to pick on anybody. We're just trying to get to the truth.
Let's just keep presenting. I mean, there's so many. Like that fermentation.
Fermentation, sure.
Everybody wants everybody to be on soy. Sorry, soy people. A lot of the studies were done on fermented soy.
Right.
It wasn't on the tofu. It wasn't on the soy milk.
Pre-digested.
Yeah,
soy.
It was on the miso.
Yes, which is pre-digested.
Right. So I'm just saying, everybody keep your ears up.
Well, and it brings up another good point, and that's the first thing I thought of as well, as far as the myths, as far as the vitamin side. I'm a vitamin sales rep. I know that side of the game. I also realize that too much of something is detrimental, even though, there's certain things and nutrients that we know are fantastic for the body. Too much of them, certainly bad. Some of the studies that have been done have shown vitamins causing cancer, or at least excessive vitamins or certain vitamin E's or whatever. First of all, that's a synthetic vitamin that they're using. And then number two, we really don't know, because they were participatory studies, or at least they were analyzing the studies and literature. They weren't necessarily testing people. They were having people fill out questionnaires.
Well, they had one of the big ones was the group of smokers, and they were given the vitamins with the A and E, and they actually had a higher recurrence and higher cancer rate and things like that.
Right.
But to throw the whole system out, well, that is terrible.
And then in turn, again, what else were they doing? We don't know. I mean, we know that they were taking that, all that in common, but what else did they have in common? It's kind of hard.
Most smokers don't go to the restaurant and say, give me a bowl of oatmeal and a yogurt and an orange juice.
They're going for the fried foods and the rich foods. In most cases, that's exactly right. That's a good point.
The fried ham and they
tend to go together.
Biscuits and gravy. So anyway, watch how people fly.
Very good point. But when we come back, folks, from break, we're going to talk a little bit more about the vitamin side and debunking some of the myths that exist there. Certainly want you to take vitamins, the ones that you need to take, but do it in the right way, and then not get excessive with it, and then don't be redundant with it. So that's why we're here, is to try to educate you on that. We'll take a break, come back, and talk about those myths when we return on this edition of Understanding Your Health.